You ever think a sunset walk could change everything? I didn't. I wasn't looking for headlines or to prove anything to anyone. I just wanted a little peace, a quiet stretch of sky, the sound of the ocean, and Titan beside me like always. Titan isn't just a dog. He's what's left of Camille. She was Air Force, sharp, fearless, funny in that quiet way that hits you later. She trained Titan, called him too gentle for war, but perfect for watching over people who mattered. She meant me. So now it's just me and him, walking those Santa Barbara cliffs at golden hour, like ghosts retracing old steps. The sun was bleeding into the sea, the sky bruised purple, and the wind had that edge to it, like it knew something was coming. At first, it was just a shift, the kind of silence that stretches out a second too long. A neighbor not saying hi. A cruiser parked with the engine running 2 blocks down. Nothing dramatic, just off. But when you've lived your whole life learning how to read a room before it reads you, you know when something's not right. The first time, it was Mission Ridge. Clay Briner was leaning on his cruiser, Riley standing awkward and uncertain, and Watkins. Watkins grinning like he already knew the punchline. They didn't speak. Didn't need to. Their eyes did all the talking. I kept walking. Titan stiff beside me, his growl low and steady, kept happening. At the park, at the gas station, wherever I went, no laws broken, no words exchanged, but always that same message. We see you. And maybe we don't want to. A black woman walking tall, unbothered, with a military dog and a set to her shoulders that said she belonged. That made them uncomfortable. And when people like that feel uncomfortable, they reach for control. One evening, just before the light faded, Titan stopped dead, ears up, alert. Their cruiser rolled closer, slow and deliberate like they had all the time in the world. That's when I knew. It wasn't about the dog or the leash or noise complaints. It was about being seen. Being unafraid, being too visible in a place that likes its discomfort hidden behind smiles. I turned down Olive, hoping to avoid more eyes. But they were already there, waiting. This time, they didn't even bother pretending. Clay stood arms crossed, Drew spinning his baton like he was bored, and Matt in the background not meeting my eyes. "Evening, ma'am," Clay said, voice dripping sugar and warning. "Out walking that big dog again?" Drew added, smiling like he thought he was funny. "Hope he's not too much for you." I looked him straight in the eye. "He's trained." "To protect," I said. "And to recognize a threat." Titan didn't move, didn't blink, just watched. "We've had complaints," Clay said, casual like he wasn't itching for a reaction. "Perception matters." I kept my voice level. "He's on a leash. That's the law." He shrugged as if that didn't matter. "Just looking out. For the community." I tilted my head. "Are you? Or are you just reminding me who's watching?" His smile cracked just for a second. "Enjoy your walk, ma'am," but the air had shifted again. He didn't need to chase me. I was supposed to feel chased. That's how it works. On the walk back, I felt it. The weight of every stare, every door that quietly closed, every step that echoed a little too loudly. The woman with the stroller crossed the street. The cashier barely looked at me. It wasn't new. But it still cuts. Cuts a little deeper each time. That night, I pulled out my phone, found Camille's old voice memo. Just 12 seconds. Her voice, worn from chemo, still strong. "Whatever happens, walk like you always have. Don't let anyone shrink you, especially not the ones who smile while they're doing it." I played it twice. Titan rested his head on my knee like he knew. The third time, no witnesses, or so I thought. I took the gravel path behind the mission, Camille's favorite route. It always felt sacred, safe, till that night. Titan stiffened, growled, then headlights through the trees. No sirens, just that slow crawl that told you everything. Clay was driving. Drew in the passenger seat. Matt leaning forward, pale and too quiet. They stopped 10 feet away. Clay stepped out, smoothing his uniform like it was armor. "Evening, Miss Jameson," he said. "Beautiful night, isn't it?" I didn't blink. "You're not here for small talk," I said. Titan stood firm beside me, ready. This was the test. Not of strength, but of presence. Of right. Of refusing to vanish just because someone wants you to. I didn't back down. Couldn't. Not after everything I'd survived. Racism in classrooms, whispers about my marriage, grief that hollowed me out and still didn't break me. Camille wouldn't have run, so neither did I. Titan and I stood our ground, and then walked home, not in fear, but in defiance. Through a silence that wasn't empty anymore, it was listening. Everyone said they were just keeping the peace, but I stared Clay down and asked, "Are you?" Because I don't feel safe. Drew started circling with that baton swinging like a threat wrapped in habit. Then he reached for Camille's tags, my wife's tags, and I didn't flinch. I just gave Titan one word: guard. And like always, he didn't attack. He stood between us like a wall of loyalty and warning. That's when we heard it. A soft buzz above, a drone. A teenage kid named Jordan Ellis caught the whole thing on camera. Didn't mean to, but once he saw what was happening, he hit record. Suddenly, the men who thought they owned the silence started shifting. Drew backed up. Clay cursed under his breath, and I said nothing. I told Titan, "Heal," and we walked away like the storm had passed but left its mark. That footage hit the internet that night. By morning, my name was all over the place. Hero, liar, brave, dangerous, depending on who you asked. Some said, "I trained Titan to attack." Others said, "Thank God someone finally caught what they'd been living too long to prove." The town split in half. Some neighbors brought flowers. Others crossed the street. One kid on a bike yelled, "We got your back, Miss Jameson," like he was throwing me a lifeline. I nodded, but support is easy from a distance. In the stores, people whispered or stared. Sometimes they didn't say anything at all, just waited for me to break. But I didn't. I took Titan to the veterans' brunch, sat beside Susan the widow like I always did, and we passed orange juice in silence that said more than words. The DA's office called. They were opening a case. Deputy Mariah Lake said, "It'll get louder before it gets better." That same night, someone spray-painted liar on my mailbox. The next morning, someone else left tulips with no note. You learn fast who people really are when the truth makes them choose. When the DA asked me to testify, she warned me. They'd dig up everything. My past, my pain, even Camille. I told her, "I've been questioned my whole life. Let them try." The courthouse was cold. Titan had to wait outside, but I felt him there. Steady, unflinching. I told the jury the truth. Every slow step of fear that led to that night. Every fake smile laced with threat. Every time I chose not to back down. When the defense tried twisting my words, I looked them in the eye and said, "If telling the truth sounds exaggerated, maybe you haven't been listening long enough." The room went still. The verdict? Guilty. On all counts. Clay's face didn't move. Drew looked down. Matt clenched his fists, eyes shining but silent. I didn't cry. I didn't smile. I just breathed. Finally. Outside, Titan was waiting like always, tail thumping slow, eyes calm. I knelt down, pressed my forehead to his and whispered, "We did it." We held the line. And for a second, I felt that fire again, the one Camille used to call my stubborn grace. Look, I never asked to be a symbol. I was just a woman walking her dog, keeping a promise to the one I loved. But sometimes history doesn't knock. It kicks the door in and demands to know who you are. When they tried to erase me, I didn't run. I stayed visible, present, real. Because the world loves a clean ending, but that's not how life works. The court said guilty, but the town's still deciding what that means. People are still drawing lines, still choosing silence or courage. And me, I just keep walking. Because dignity isn't something you wait to be given. It's something you choose, every day, every step, especially when nobody's clapping. So now I'll ask you, where are you being called to stand your ground? In your job? Your home? Your name? Don't wait for someone to hand you courage. Choose it. And if this story lit even a spark inside you, don't scroll past. Say something. Share something. Because stories like this aren't just meant to be seen. They're meant to wake us up.